if you train a child young enough that they have no control, that they're not powerful, that everybody knows but them, that their job is to make you happy and never to do what matters to them, that what matters to them doesn't matter, that they have no value except to keep you happy, and that their gifts, skills, passions, interests, that they don't mean anything, that they don't matter. If you can convince a child of that, they could walk powerless for the rest of their lives. And what I realize is that now my journey is about remembering my power, remembering who I've always been, remembering who I forgot that I am. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Sharon Let's Live with Marlene Dillon Empowerment Specialist. Okay, so this morning I got up and I went to the lake. And I'm probably going to be doing my Obama pauses more than usual because I just walked a couple miles. My exercise is usually walking from the house to the car. So yeah, I walked a couple miles and it was beautiful. So one of the things that I do when I go to the lake, I can't believe I'm about to tell you my secret, but one of the things that I do when I go to the lake is that there's a certain dock that I can stand on, and it's got like railing all around, and it kind of like juts out into the water. So basically I can stand at the corner, like where the two railings meet, and look out into the water, and it's as if I'm in the water, like, because I can't see the dock the way that it's positioned. And I love to stand there because I don't know if you've ever done this, but if you stand by moving water, like a stream or so, or it works with the lake too, river, if you like stand kind of close, not close enough to fall in, unless you know how to swim and it's safe. But yeah, you stand close to the water, and if you just stare at the waves long enough, an illusion is created, or at least I think it's an illusion, where it feels like you're floating, like you're in a boat, like you're moving. And I started doing that when I was away at college. We had a, what are they called? I think it was lagoons. I think that's what they're called. They're not ponds. And I would, there was a bridge, like a foot bridge kind of thing that went over the water. And I would sit there and just stare at the water until I started to float. And I like to do that when I go to the lake. And for a minute, I wasn't going to do it because I had walked in a direction I don't usually walk. So I had done like a good mile in the opposite direction, and my T-bands or whatever that thing that's on the side of your leg, it started to cry out when I started walking in the other direction toward the dock. But I have a belief that I shared on the podcast before where I do what I saw. So even though I saw myself walking back to the car, before that, I saw myself standing at that spot on the dock that was, a good walk, maybe a mile in the opposite direction. And so I just paused as necessary, massaged my calves, and got to my dock. And I stood there and I did my floating thing. And then I started to have a conversation with God, or source, or whatever you want to call the all there is. And basically what I said was, when I'm out here, I feel so free, and I feel so empowered, and I feel so ready, and I feel so convinced of my truth and my greatness, and I'm fully in my power, and I'm ready to take on all that's mine and go after all that's mine. But when I get home, I feel so, I feel like my power's out when I get home. And I feel like I can't do the things that I want to do. And I feel like I feel like I'm doing a lot of stuff from obligation, and like I can't do this and I can't do that. And I just feel powerless. when I get home. And if you don't already know, because I talk about, my life all the time on the podcast. So after my situation resolved itself, I moved back into my parents' house and have not managed to move out of it since then. Yeah. So it's a source of deep pain for me because I want to be in my own house. And it can be really challenging to launch from places that made you the worst version of yourself. So it's a challenging situation but I'm gonna get out. I still believe. And I was having a conversation about that on the first leg of the journey, like the first mile in the opposite direction. I was walking by and I saw these beautiful houses, homes that I never noticed before because I always go the other way. So I walked in this other direction today and I saw these beautiful homes by the water. And I was just thinking about like the process and the idea of I'm going to have a beautiful lakefront home and how there are people who live, 2 or 3 blocks over, they probably don't even know that these houses exist, or that it's even an option to live waking up looking at the water. And as I was going by these amazing houses and looking at how they, have even built like their own dock for their boats and just a beautiful change of scenery. I kept walking and then I saw a plot of land. And I was thinking like, wow. Because as I was walking and looking at these houses, I was like, these are the houses of the people who believed in their dream. And then when I saw that plot, I was like, and somebody is dreaming about having a lakefront home, but they don't believe in it. And this is their plot of land. And of course, that made me immediately think of myself. Because I have a dream. I have a dream that I dreamt so good that the house was actually built by somebody else. The details of the house are so specific that the only way that someone could have created that house is for them to have received the whisper of my blueprint through the cosmos. It is like when I saw the house, I was just like, that's a really nice ass house. When I saw the house was for sale, I followed guidance, to reach out to the person who owned the house, because it was for sale by owner, and to just ask some questions about it. Just talk to the person, find out about the house. So I got to, I found out what the price was, found out why they were selling it, that type of thing. And asked if they were doing an open house. And they were like, no. However, the house is on Zillow. So one day I looked the house up on Zillow and I could have passed out as I traveled from room to room on this website, looking at details of a home that I designed many years ago. So, of course, I'm just like, this is a weird-ass coincidence. Good God, this house looks very much like the house that I was designing in my mind. Because, in 2006, I was watching that movie, The Secret, a lot. And I was actually manifesting things. I got all kinds of medical bills and stuff paid off, paid in full, and was just really manifesting everything, but I wasn't able to manifest my home. So I'm just like, this shit doesn't work, So fast forward to the day that I'm on Zillow looking at this house, and I'm just like, man, it was down to the details of, the big details about all the space for, my multiple cars and, this is my dream home. So all the different details, even things that I left out, having a sewing room, like all of that stuff. Anyway, point is, I was looking at Zillow, I was just like, oh my God. But I was still like, oh my God, this resembles my house. And then I was just like, out of curiosity, when was this house built? And the house was built in 2007. So of course, once I saw that it was built in 2007, I was ready to pass out. Considering that I had the blueprint down and was like meditating on it every day in 2006. So since then, I have spent a lot of time in that area, just observing the house and observing the area, hanging out. It's by one of my favorite spots. And yeah, it was just like, it was my vision 2.0. The details about the house, I can't even tell you. Like, even the name of the street, the house number, like all of the stuff, everything has significance. Like, it relates to me in so many ways. It's one of those things where it's like so many signs that it's obvious that could be my house. Okay, that is my house. And I have a whole bunch of beliefs about how stuff happens, who things get to happen for, under what circumstances, etc. That house is just sitting there. I've seen it go up for sale so many times, and then the for sale sign comes down. And I think that it's just that I won't go pick up my house. And they know that since they're doing it by owner, they're not getting the sense that this is the right person, because the right person is me. And as much as that might sound crazy, I really do believe that. Even if someone moved into the house, I feel like when I'm ready to go pick that house up, that they're going to be ready to sell it. So anyway, so I was thinking about that on the first leg of the journey. So then I walk back, and then I go stand on the dock, and I'm having this conversation. And I was talking about how I feel like when I get in the house, like all my power is gone. And it's really hard to like get work done and stay focused and complete things and move things forward. And I was just like, what's that shit about? Just kind of like asking God, asking the universe. So I'm looking out on the water. I ask the question, and this is what comes to me. There's just like an elephant, like the ones that'll be like in the circus and stuff like that, that they are some of the most powerful animals, or whatever they're called, most powerful animals in the world. And if you get them early enough, they can be trained to believe that they aren't powerful and that they are to be controlled. And you can tie that elephant to a little stump and it will not move because it doesn't know that it's powerful anymore. So apparently elephants do forget, because they can forget their power. And when I thought about that, it was just like, wow, if you train a child young enough that they have no control, that they're not powerful, that everybody knows but them, that their job is to make you happy and never to do what matters to them, that what matters to them doesn't matter, that they have no value except to keep you happy, and that their gifts, skills, passions, interests, that they don't mean anything, that they don't matter. If you can convince a child of that, they could walk powerless for the rest of their lives. And what I realize is that now my journey is about remembering my power, remembering who I've always been, remembering who I forgot that I am. And some of the hints to that are the things that light me up, the things that get me excited, the things that I enjoy, the things I'll research, the things that feel very natural to me, and tapping into that. There are certain things that I do that get my energy pumping. If you follow my work or if you follow me on Facebook, then you've probably seen my post about I love dance, all dance. Because I was probably meant to be a dancer. I wanted to be a dancer when I wanted to be a ballerina when I was little. And And I love dance. It's just beautiful to me. And basically like all forms. Every once in a while I'll see something, I'm just like, what are they doing? But I would say 98% of dance, I'm like, I'm here for it. And, and it's those things, like, I love fashion and fashion design and fashion shows, and I could watch fashion shows all day. It's those things that you're just like, I could just watch that all day. I could research this all day. I could study this all day. I could read about this all day. It's those things are a hint to who you really are, and what was in there that maybe got conditioned out of you, because maybe you grew up like me under the, these are the approved careers banner of, like, you could be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, you could be a police officer, firefighter, what are the other ones? But those are usually for boys, quote unquote. But I don't remember my parents necessarily saying that. But, those were the approved: nurse, doctor, lawyer, police officer, firefighter. I think that's it. And, so it's just like if you want it to be something else, like an artist. I knew that by 4th grade, because that's the class I remember being in, when someone asked, like, what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I said something like a pediatrician. I said a pediatrician, and everybody was like, oh, you should be an artist. And I was like, no, artists don't get paid until they're dead. Now, the fact that I was saying that in 4th grade is an indication that somebody, likely an adult, told me that shit. And I believed it. And it's just getting back to the you before other people's opinions changed you. So my intention is to get back to the me I was before people came in and convinced me that I was other. So since this person is not enjoying the peace and quiet and beauty of the lake, I am ending this podcast. This is Marlene Dillon Empowerment Specialist with Share and Let's Live. Have an amazing, whatever time of day it is for you. Share and Let's Live with Marlene Dillon Empowerment Specialist is a free daily podcast. If you would like to send a gift of support, please visit mdillondesigns.com/support. To learn more about me, Marlene Dillon Empowerment Specialist, please visit mdillondesigns.com. There you can find more podcast episodes, you can read my inspirational blog, you can check out my online store of personalized gifts featuring the characters from my empowering children's book, I'm Proud to Be Natural Me. You can find parenting resources, including my online communication course, Healing Our Families, Healing the Parent-Child Relationship. Please follow and share if you found this podcast inspiring. Thank you, and have